All right, it's time for another edition of Mike Finds Things, where I go out and find records, cool old stuff at local estate sales, thrift stores, yard sales, occasional auctions, and occasionally just picking up a cool record lot. In this case, I got a record lot from an estate auction locally, so we're taking a break from my series where I'm going through my old section of my LPs. We've got an all 78 edition, mostly Doo-Wop. I'd say most of these records are 1956. Give or take a year. I think they're all pretty much, there's a couple of them that are a little earlier, but this was an interesting one because I found it on the Max Sold site, which I haven't bid on anything on there in like 3 years, because their pickup date is usually on a weekend when I'm filming. Well, in this case, it was on a weekend and on a day I was not filming, so I said, okay, I'll go ahead and bid on it. It was on a day I was going to Disneyland, though, so my sister had to pick up my daughter, so I could go pick up the records because they didn't open up the pickup till 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And these actually came in a really nice platter pack for 78. So this thing's pretty beefy. Let me see if I can open it. So that alone was probably worth some of the price of admission. There you go. It was in a cool platter pack for 78. So you don't see the 78 platter packs. I own a few. I have a couple of metal ones too. This one's pretty heavy duty. It's probably metal on the inside. So I just wanted to show that because it did come in that. This is probably the first time I've ever seen 78s at an estate sale or at an auction where they actually fanned them out and you could tell what was there. And then there was actually really good stuff. So that's kind of neat. So it's mostly doo-wop, early R&B, some early rock and roll stuff. There's a couple of them that are kind of like records, but most of them are pretty good stuff. I did have to step up a little bit on this lot. I paid okay, here's the deal. When you go on Max Sold and you buy something, they do add in this case it was 18%, the auction fee, which anytime you do an auction, there's going to be an auction fee. Plus, I live in Pasadena where we have like the highest sales tax in the country. I think we're tied for highest sales tax in the country in Pasadena. So I had to pay sales tax, and they charge sales tax on the auction fee because it's considered part of the purchase price. So all in all, I paid with sales tax, it was just under $180 for the whole lot, including the case and the records. You're like, man, that's a lot of money spent on a record. It averages to $5, just under $5.50 a record, and that includes the ones that aren't any good. So, which there's not very many of those. We'll do those at the end, the ones that aren't very good. And I will say I did a conservative estimate on the records using Discogs, which alone is already a conservative estimate because a lot of 78 guys won't use Discogs. So I used mid pricing. Occasionally I came up if the thing was some of these records are super mint, look like they've never been played. So I came up a little bit, but I didn't go to like the high level. And I tried to find sales comps. I'm sure some of you guys are going to look at these and goes, no, that's way too low for that record, or even maybe it's way too high. Mostly probably way too low. So my conservative estimate on these records is, I did not price the last ones. I aren't included, the ones that are broken. 463 would be a conservative estimate on the records retail. Obviously, it would take years to sell all these records, and it's not like something I can sell like immediately. And that's not including the case, which probably alone is probably a $15 or $20 value. I think we can all agree on that. It's a pretty nice case. I'm not getting rid of that case. It's actually, like some other ones are metal ones for 78s. Usually the 78 cases are beefier because of the weight. So we're going to start off here. We're going to go, make sure you like the video. Leave some comments. Whether you think I got burned or not, which, I've already looked it up. I didn't get burned. Also, please subscribe to the channel. We are getting really close to 1,000 subs, and I need to get to 1,000 subs. The channel's already been approved for monetization by YouTube. I just need the 1,000 subs, and I do have the watch hours already. I'm already over 4,000 watch hours. So we're going to start at one. It has a 1956 R&B record, low of 5, mid of 5, high of 20. This one is Treasure of Love, Clyde McPhatter on Atlantic. I don't believe I had this. I'll mention if I had it. Sometimes I'll say I didn't have it, and then I'll go back and look, and I'll be like, oh, I did have a copy. When You're Sincere, Clyde McPhatter. So mid of 5, low of 5, mid of 5, high of 20. So probably not many copies sold on Discogs. I put it down as a $5 record. So I'm going to put, because I wrote down what I put down when I got that total of 463 for the value for the. Like I said, obviously it would take a while to sell that. I'm not reselling these, so but I just wanted to give you an idea. And also, you got to remember on that you would pay sales tax again and shipping if you did buy it on Discogs. I didn't pay shit. These were actually 15 minutes from my house, so I was able to go pick them up. It was super. It was right here. It was in Pasadena. It was actually in a much nicer Pasadena than I live in. Here's one. This one's got a bit of a value. We did find a copy of this one recently, a couple weeks ago, but it was a beat up copy. 57 Doo-Wopper, low of 10, mid of 34, high of 56. I put 38 in that total just because it's so minty, which may be a conservative estimate. Come Go With Me, the Dell Vikings, of course, a very well known song. In fact, I went to 2 car shows over the weekend. At both of them, they played this song, which I thought was kind of funny because I knew I was getting the record again. And How Can I Find True Love is the B-side. This is the Dot label variety. I think they were on a minor label before they were on Dot. This one has a decent value. As I always say with 78s, the hits often are worth quite a bit of money over the 45s because the ones everybody knows, like Come Go With Me, because jukeboxes, because you got to remember 78s went out of production in the United States in 1958, and guys with 78 jukeboxes want the rock and roll era stuff, which is generally harder to find as production dwindled as the 50s went on up until 58. In fact, there is a 1958 Doo-Wop 78 in here somewhere. Here's one I did already have a copy of this. This one has a low of 9, mid of 13, a high of 17. It's a 54 Doo-Wop on chess, Sincerely by the Moonglows. In fact, I think I might even have a couple copies of this one already. And it's in good shape. I played it. Tempting. Now, when you're looking at 78s, usually the condition's not going to be up to par. If you're used to looking at LPs and 45s, because these did not stack like a 45. And a lot of people just took them out of the sleeves and just kind of threw them wherever. But usually, a lot of times 78s will play just fine if they've got scratches on them. And I've seen mint 78s where they appear to be mint and they played horribly. So you never know. Sometimes you're taking a chance. I did play most of these the other day. I will say that there's one that I've been looking for in here too, and I'll mention that when I get to that. A record that I already had a copy of, but it was destroyed. Here's a really nice copy from 1957, Jesse Belvin doing Sam Cooke, You Send Me on Modern. This is a super minty copy. Only sales comp I could come up with this on Discogs was $8. So I put $8, even though this thing looks like it's never been played. Summertime. Also, none of these had stuff written on the labels, which was really refreshing to see. Because usually you find these, the teenagers owned them, they took them to parties. They wrote their names on them, they put address labels on them, that sort of thing. I don't believe any of these have that. I think one might, I think, later on. But it's one of the ones that aren't really anything. Here's a double A. What I call double A, if you don't know, it means both sides were hits and played on the radio kind of thing. 56 Rock and Roller, you know this one. You probably own it on 45 if you don't own it on 78. Low of 7, mid of 14, high of 30 on this one, so I probably put 14 down. It's actually really clean now that I look at it again. Long Tall Sally on Specialty, Little Richard. And I know I have some Little Richard on Specialty on 78. I don't remember which ones they are right now off the top of my head. Slipping and Sliding. Again, another example of a record that you'll find a lot on 45, not so much on 78. So, because of course they reissued those into infinity. Here's a great one, 1957 Doo-Wop. We got 2 from the same artist here, both hits. We got low of 11, mid of 23, high of 35. I put $30. This thing is mint, and I did play it yesterday, and it played really well. The 5 Satins to the Isle on Ember. I remember that label because we got another Ember coming up, and the only label variation I could find was this label variation, but it has a smaller Ember logo. And the B-side is Wish I Had My Baby. So Doo-Wop classic. Like I said, for the sake of the total, I put $30. I said this one looks like it's brand new. So it's probably actually closer to a higher number, but we're not gonna change it now. Oh, sorry, I did not. I put the other 5 satins is later on. It's another Ember label. I'm sorry. There is another 5 satins coming up. One I already had, so that's a good clue. 58 Doo-Wop record. This is a massive hit. The only variation I could find was the larger Ember logo, which apparently is an earlier logo from what I could tell. Low of 3, mid of $32.50, high of 55. I put, for sake of argument, 38 because it's pretty minty. You've heard this one. Get a Job, the Silhouettes. There's some massive, if you know 50 songs, you know that one. I Am Lonely is the B-side on that one. It's another good example of a record you find quite a bit on 45. Do not find, especially being a 58 record, that was right at the end of 78 production. So that probably helps that one out as well. Here's one, we have 2 in the stack from the same artist. This one's really minty on RPM from 56, R&B record. Some guy's asking 15. This one's so clean, I just put it was a $15 record just for sake of argument on the stack. Billy Boy, the Teen Queens. And Until the Day I Die. So it looks pretty minty. Like I said, they were all in that case. Some of these did have, one had a nice original sleeve, so I kept it, which is coming up. It's actually the other Teen Queens later on. And that one looks brand new as well. So that'll be coming up. But since they were in that case, they were kept pretty nice. This guy had a really nice house. He had a lot of nice stuff. I wanted to bid on some other stuff, but I knew I just wanted to get the one lot and leave to go to Disney on Saturday. That's the problem with these online auctions. I really wish they would start doing a Friday pickup day as well as a Saturday, not just a Saturday, Sunday. Like I said, last time I picked up a record lot, it was on CT Bids, not far from here, and they had a weekday pickup day, which really, really helped me out. 55 Doo-Wopper. This is the one that I was like, oh, okay. Only has sold on Discogs for 25. That's the only sales comp on Discogs I could find, which is really strange because I would assume this would be worth more. It's one I had, but I have a trash copy. And it's one I've been looking for in a better copy. It's Speedo by the Cadillacs on Josie. In fact, somebody was commenting on one of my videos, they were like looking for this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a better copy for myself. And let me explain. Of course, a very well-known doo-wop song. I think they used it in a couple like Scorsese movies. My kid was excited about that because we actually have a repressed 45 in one of my Seaberg jukeboxes of Speedo, and she likes to play it a lot. So she was like, as soon as I told her there was a copy of Speedo in there, she's like, yeah, go for it. So I put down 25. I think it's worth more. It's a really nice copy of it. I think Discogs might be a little low on the majority of their 78 pricing, just because a lot of 78 guys are afraid of the sellers that they're going to break the record, not pack it properly. But it's the easiest way to get sort of a sold comp on a 78, if that makes any sense. 1956, we found this one about a couple months ago, but with a slight warp. It does. The other one does play. The other copy of this does play. Low of 5, mid of 2380, and a high of 45. This one's so clean, and it is not warped. So I put 27 as the value for sake of argument, contributing to the total. Ain't Got No Home, Clarence Frogman Henry on Argo. And there's actually a couple label variations on this one, from what I could tell, but this was this label variation, Troubles. There's a classic hit, another one probably because people would want it in their jukebox. So now we've got 2 copies. The other one, like I said, has a little bit of a warp in it. Here's one I'm pretty sure I've got multiple copies of this already, but this one's really clean. 52 R&B record on Atlantic. Low of 350, mid of 10, high of 20. For sake of argument, because it's clean, I put a value of 12 contributing to the total. One Mint Julep by the Clovers. That's one I know for a fact I've probably got several. I probably have on 45 too. Middle of the Night. I'm pretty sure I've got this. It's probably one of those yellow label Atlantics too, 45s. So there's that one. We're gonna go through. Here's one I did not have. I found this at an estate sale once, and it was broken in half. This one is far from being broken in half, unless I drop it right now. No, we're not gonna drop it right now. This one's really minty too. 1954 Doo-Wop, very very well known song that you love. Low of 8, mid of 15, high of 45. For sake of argument, I said it was a $25 record. It's probably worth more than that. On VJ, it's one of the early VJ releases. Goodnight, Sweetheart, Goodnight by the Spaniels. And You Don't Move Me on the B-side. Said, when do you ever see, like, usually when you find like these doo-wop and R&B records, they're like the ones that people left out of the sleeves. You'll go to a sale and you'll find a bunch of Bing Crosby's or something, and they're like mint, and then you find these and they're just destroyed, and people thought, oh, someday people's going to want these Bing Crosby records. And then these are the ones people really do want. There are a few Bing Crosby's people do, like, they're desirable, I guess, but I don't know. 56, another double A by Little Richard, rock and roller. Low of 3, mid of 20, high of 45, of course, on specialty. I actually have the 45, the original 45 in one of my jukeboxes. Rip It Up, Little Richard, of course. The 45 was repressed into oblivion, and Ready Teddy is the other side. So great double A, and this one's in fantastic condition. Gotta love Little Richard. I do find Little Richard. I found a Lloyd Price on specialty the other day at another sale. I don't know if I'm going to put it in the video. I bought a bunch of really great titles, and I think they were all played on a gramophone with a steel needle because they just all sounded terrible. And I tried to play them. Not these, the ones in, I don't know if I'm going to put them in a future video or not, because I was just so, there's such good titles in there and they're just destroyed. So don't play 50s records on a steel needle gramophone, please. Because they had a gramophone at the sale, so I kind of put two and two together and go, they were playing those on that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get a good needle. And also, if you have a turntable that will do 78, make sure you're running a 78 needle when you play 78s, and you're not running that needle when you're playing 45s and 33s. All right, that is I'm sure most of you guys know that if you watch this channel. 1956 Doo-Wop, the G Clefs, Ka-Ding Dong. This one's like minty as hell. Low of 4, mid of 7, high of 12. For sake of argument, I said it was a $10 record. I think I'd say it's pretty minty, so it's way above average. Like I said, I've got no way to verify those sold comps, what condition they were that sold, so I'm just kind of winging it here. Some of you guys are going to be like, you paid that much for a bunch of old 70? Yeah, but these are like good ones. These are the ones you don't find. 56 Doo-Wop. The only sold comps I could find on VJ were a different VJ label, red label. This one's got a burgundy label. The red label ones were low of 5, mid of 10, high of 12. You know this song. It's the Dells, Oh What a Night. So I think for sake of argument, I put $10. JoJo is the B-side on that one. This one is pretty clean. It's got a couple light scratches, nothing terrible. I don't know if this was these guys' records or if he just picked them up later on, like that box, or I did not get a story on this. He had other records. He had LPs that were much later. He even had like Devo and stuff like that. They were in like later pickup groups, and I literally knew since these were in the first pickup group, that was probably the only thing I was going to bid on. And to be fair, they did get me in and out of there early. I got there really early, hoping they would just hand the records over, and they kind of were a little about it, and then finally they did. I said, I got to get to Disneyland. So these records have been to Disneyland. Go figure. No, these to the parking lot. The Cleftones, Little Girl of Mine, 1956 Doo-Wopper on G. Low of 5, mid of 10, high of 13 on this one. We got another G label, 78 coming up. You're Driving Me Mad. So I think for the sake of argument, I said $10. So contributing to the total. I didn't want to go too crazy. Like, that's worth it. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I mean, you can see I already, if that is a low estimate, that's like an even better deal. Here's the other Ember 5 Satins we found. 1956 Doo-Wopper. Low of $1. Somebody sold one for $1. Who sells records for $1 unless you're doing like a package deal or something? Mid of $37.50, high of $59. I said 40 on this one, even though it's super minty. I do have another copy of this. I think this might be better than my other copy, or comparable to it. The 5 Satins in the Still of the Night on Ember, and the Jones Girl on the other side. So, of course, in the Still of the Night, Doo-Wop staple from 56. Has a really good value. I'm guessing because jukeboxes, like, if you own a old, in fact, I still own a 1948 Wurlitzer 1100 that's supposed to be getting fixed. Guys who have stuff like that, that's what they want. They want they want stuff like that in there. Here's the one that has the original sleeve, modern RPM flare crown sleeve, and the sleeve's actually in good shape. 56 Doo-Wop record. Low of 6, mid of 16, high of 40 sold comps on Discogs. For sake of argument, I said 22 because it's nice and it has the original sleeve. That might be a lower estimate. Eddie might love the Teen Queens on RPM. That was their big hit. I know I had another copy of this and just goofed. I know for a fact I had another copy. This thing is mint, so I might be a little light on my estimate there. The other one's pretty mint. It's sort of like a pop vocal that they would play like on rock and roll stations. I've heard this on like the oldies before, oldie stations. Really minty copy. Only one sold comp on Discogs, $12. I put it down. Who knows what condition that one was in. I bet it wasn't this clean. Teenage Prayer, Gloria Man on sound. With Gypsy Lady. I think I had a few wants on this one if I remember right. This thing is super clean. It looks like non-played or barely played. From 1955. And we'll go to another one. Next week, I don't know. I didn't see any sales. It is Labor Day weekend. I've got stuff every day to film. Ventura Nationals on Saturday, car show. So like I said, I try to make these a week ahead of time. I doubt by the time that takes me all day to film, I'm not gonna be able to hit any sales on the way back from that one or the way up because I got to get there super early to get in, to get the cars rolling in. If there's anything during the week up like Thursday, Friday, I'll try to hit it. I haven't seen anything that looks like it has good records yet. So if not, I'll do another couple more letters out of my old section of my LP collection. There's another one on G Records, low from 55, low of 3, mid of 9, high of 20. You know this song. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Frankie Lyman. The one you find on 45 quite a bit. Please Be Mine. It's a great one. It's got fingerprints all over it. I have to watch. Somebody's I got to clean. Here's one. I cannot find a sold comp for this label. We've found this record before, but I didn't know this. In fact, I thought it was in like some alternate universe when I looked at it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. A 54 Doo-Wop. I own 3 or 4 copies of the other 2 label variations. Or one of them, they switched the song when the B-side, when the song became a hit. I can't find any sold comps for this actual label on Discogs. There's a bunch of wants for it, though. There's like a ton of wants for this one. The normal one goes low of 5, mid of 15, high of 30. I think for sake of argument, I said this was 20. It is Shaboom on Cat, but not by the Chords, by the Chord Cats. Check. Okay, I'm going to hold that for a second so you can read it. So it is the Chords. I guess they changed their name to the Chord Cats after the song became a hit, and it's got Little Maiden. There's 2 different B-sides, so this has the later B-side, which is Little Maiden. So I literally looked at it, I was like, Chord Cats, and I don't remember them ever being referred to as the Chord Cats, even on the later compilations that Shaboom appeared on. Of course, probably one of the most famous Doo-Wop songs, or songs even of the 50s, the Chord Cats. But it's really the Chords. I don't know why they would change the name other than the label's name is Cat, but I think that would be more confusing than anything. I really don't know. There's probably a story there as to why they decided to start calling themselves the Chord Cats for 5 minutes. But I can't find any other sold comps on that label variation. It's probably a rare variation. Maybe they did it for a while and realized, oh, we shouldn't have done that, and went back. I really don't know. There's got to be a reason they did that, which makes no sense to me. I have never oldies radio, old oldies compilations. It always says the Chords. It never says Chord Cat. So that's the first time I've ever seen that. Somebody's going to chime in. They're going to know exactly what happened. Here's one we found a couple copies of. This is another one that has two different B-sides. With the same catalog number, so if you watched the video from a few weeks ago, you're probably going to know what this is. This is the one that does not have the Christmas B-side. It's a 1956 R&B record. No sale comps on Discogs. Somebody's asking $9 for one, so for sake of argument, I said $9 because this is way better than the two we found at that other sale where all the good records were kind of scratched up. Jesse Belvin, "Good Night My Love" on Modern, there's a hit. And like I said, it's the 1005 catalog number. The one with the alternate B-side has the same catalog number. That one's like a Christmas record, Christmas song, I should say. "Let Me Love You Tonight" is the B-side on this one. It's good to get a better copy of that. I probably already have a better copy of it, but that's pretty minty. I don't think I can top that one. That one looks pretty crisp. I guess I got some more 78s to go through. Here's another one. You know the artist. It is a double A side from 1957. Low of 750, mid of 2250, high of 34 on Atco. Oh, the only label variation they had on Discogs was like the white and yellow Atco label. So this is the darker Atco label. That one, that's the comps on those. So low of 750, mid of 2250, high of 34. I don't have any sold comps for this one. So I think I just put this one I think I just put the 22. This one's super minty. It's got Searchin' and Young Blood. So it's a double A side 78 by the Coasters. You know the Coasters well. If you watch this channel, probably. So I would assume. Unless you dropped in for those LPs and were like, why is he not talking about Duran Duran? We had a whole thing on Duran Duran on the last video. I've had a lot of Duran Duran LPs from back in the day. From 57, we got a Doo-Wop, another big hit. Low of 8, mid of 11, high of 25 on Discogs. That seems a little light for something like this, but okay. This is one people would definitely want in their jukebox. Thurston Harris, little bitty pretty one on Aladdin. There's a big hit, and I hope you won't hold it against me. The B-side. That was a national hit. Here's another one that was a national hit on an LA-based label that we have found a better copy of recently with a different label variation. Okay, that's confusing. 1954 Doo-Wop, another one of those famous B-sides. Low of 8, mid of 13, high of 40 on this label variation. It's Earth Angel, the Penguins on the B-side on Dutone with Hey Senorita, which was the original A-side before Earth Angel became the hit. This is obviously the maroon label variation. We had the red label variation, I'm guessing about a month or so ago on a video in better condition. Obviously a song people would want for their jukebox. There's also a blue label variation, which I have not come across. Apparently they put a blue Dutone label on some of those. So there's 3 different color variations on that label. 1956 Doo-Wop. This one's pretty clean too. Low of 8, mid of 15, high of 22 on Whirlin' Disc. That famous label. The closer you are, the channels. It's catalog W100, so it's the first record on that label. And now you know. So So I think for most of these, like I said, if there's 3 different, I put a mid, unless I use the mid price towards the total, I think I said, unless I noted. That's the end of the Doo-Wop, but we're going to go into, we got the other stuff. So this is the only one that had any real value that wasn't Doo-Wop. The pop parody from 51. Low of 4, mid of 7, high of 9. So this is the only one of the rest of the records that I used to add to the total. So it was like $7. So Stan Freberg, Ragtime Dan, and John and Marcia. I know people do like the Stan Freberg records. So something a little fun that was in there. And it's actually in really nice condition. Here's the rest of them. We're going to go on the ones that are damaged, but we did not add the damage. I did not add the damaged ones to the total because they have like no value. They're wall hangers. This one I did not add as part of the total. From 51, $1.50, mid of 5, high of 9. This is an artist that you see people when they're selling 78s. Oh, Les Paul, because everybody's heard of the guitar, right? High the Moon, Les Paul and Mary Ford. Not the Les Paul records generally. There might be one out there that's worth money I don't know of, and Walking and Whistling Blues. But for the most part, you do find a lot of Les Paul 78s. They're not like, people just hear Les Paul, they think of the guitar and they think the record's worth money. I've seen that before. Here's one by the Crew Cuts. Now, Crew Cuts, of course, they had a hit with Shaboom, which was originally done by the Chords. The Chords obviously had the better version, obviously. I think that's probably their only record I've seen that has any sort of value is their version of Shaboom. They did a lot of covers of songs. And this one, I only found one guy on a random website asking $6 for it. It's a mint copy. I did not add this to the total, as I don't think it really has much value. It's Tell Me Why on Mercury. In fact, Discogs did not show any sold comps. And Rebel in Town. Apparently it's from a movie called Rebel in Town. So apparently they did this song for a movie. I've never heard of this one. I just kind of put it in there because it was in the box. I did not add any sort of value to that total, as well as on the next couple records that were damaged. We have the Diamonds. We know the Diamonds on Mercury, and I wonder why. Yeah, no one's going to play that. So unfortunately, that one was damaged. It did have a Mercury sleeve, or what's left of it. So there's that. We got another Moonglows. Unfortunately, I did not have this one, and I probably don't have it still. We Go Together, and you're like, wow, that side looks great on chess. And you flip it over, and you see the tape for the crack. With Chicky Ba. This will probably play, though, because I imagine he taped it. He probably played it. It will play on the We Go Together side. But I can't put a value on that because it's cracked. You've got the Magic Touch, the Platters. Not a huge loss because we do find Platters quite a bit on 78. It's got a giant gouge in it. Here's one that wasn't damaged, but it's part of a set, and it's Bozo the Clown. I have no idea. This was mixed in with all those other records, I swear. And Bozo the Clown. That's a good wall hanger, though. But apparently it was part of an album originally. Somehow Bozo got thrown into this deal. Another one I already have a copy of this on 78 by the Platters on Mercury. Thank God the rare stuff wasn't really damaged that was in there. The Great Pretender with a big crack in it. It's cracked. And I'm Just a Dancing Partner. So that's one I'm likely to come across again. So that's the 78 lot I bought that I stepped up a little bit for. I think I still got a good deal. Obviously, I didn't buy them to resell, since that's the stuff I collect is the Doo-Wop 78s. I don't think I did too bad. Some of you guys are going to scream at me. Some of you guys are going to be like, yeah, that's great. Or, the old timers from back when Doo-Wop records went for like $1 million. They're going to be like, whoa, you scored. I still see that. If you don't know, Doo-Wop records, I guess, went for a lot more money back in like the 90s. It's the same thing with jukeboxes. Jukeboxes, the only ones that are really worth more are like AMI Continentals and stuff that are like mid-century looking. Most of the other ones had actually decreased in value since the 90s, which is why I got into jukeboxes again, because I could afford them. So that's what I got. Probably next week, most likely. I do have some thrift store stuff. and some estate sale stuff. I probably have enough for a video for next week for that. If not, I'll do some more letters out of the LP, because I want to get through those so I can rearrange all the LPs and filter in the stuff I've bought since. So I can't do that till I actually get through that whole rack. Please subscribe to the channel. We are really close to being monetized on this channel. At least I'll get a couple bucks from it. Maybe use the money to go buy more records for the channel. Make sure you leave some comments and subscribe. Watch my other channel, Mike Frankovich, which is my car show videos, which is kind of takes precedence over this one because that one has been monetized for a while and has quite a following. I got recognized at Disneyland the other day from that channel, so it's true. My sister was with me and she thought it was kind of weird. So until next time, I'll be seeing you.